Yeah, it's that time of the year again, and it's time to think about what you want on your Christmas list. Well, this is something I wanted on my Christmas list, and unbelievably, one of my subscribers sent it to me. I didn't even tell him that I wanted it for Christmas, and he wishes to remain anonymous, so I thank him for the book, and I'll tell you a little bit about this book. I got one, I think it was last year, a year before last. Excuse me. I've been cleaning my garage and my workshop and my shed, and lots of dust, so I'm kind of clogged up anyway. I got the edition, the 5th edition of this, a year or so ago, again from the same subscriber. My head's not even in gear this morning. Okay, this is the 7th edition, and it's the Worldwide Listening Guide. Took me a little bit to figure out what the name of it was. I thought it was the World WD Listening Guide, meaning that it was in German maybe. Yeah, I forgot about the little I there. Oh boy, I am really brain dead. But anyway, I want to tell you a little bit about this book. It's about $25 on Amazon. And it's all about listening to AM, shortwave, FM, whatever. It covers everything, goes a lot into shortwave. And I'm just going to briefly tell you about it. Again, I got one of these a couple years ago and did a review. And let me zoom in a little bit. I changed to my old camera, which has a better zoom capability. That's good enough. I don't want to show anything that I'd violate any copyright. But anyway, it starts off by telling you how to listen and what kind of radio platforms there are, depending on what you want to listen to. So you want to listen to AM band, FM band. Here it starts off with North American stations operating with 50,000 watts day and night. So these are AM stations in the United States that you can possibly receive. This is called AM DXing. And it lists the frequency, the call sign, location, and a little bit about the station. Here we are down there. Then it goes into analog FM radio, talks about that, gives you some background, some things to look for, where to get information. Here is an example, AM FM radio, what kind of content there is by format, the percentage of the audience that listens to that particular format on FM radio. Then it touches on digital AM FM radio. And I did a review of, this is mainly HD radio. And I did a review on the HD radio. And it doesn't stand for high definition. It stands for hybrid digital radio. And the radios, these types of radios now, can provide you HD radio, which the advantage of HD radio, the main advantage of HD radio, is there's digital content. And you can see information about the station, about the song that's playing, whatever. It didn't really catch on as much as I thought it would. Still fairly popular. And then it goes into, and I skipped a page here by mistake. Okay, then it goes into Sirius XM satellite radio. I also had one of these radios, and I used it. Now this is pay per listen, so you have to pay a monthly fee. It's not free. Fee is not free. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think back then for me it was $9.95 a month. And I got it because I was doing a lot of traveling on the road, so it was nice to have a nice digital signal that was always there no matter where you were. Because regular AM, FM is going to, the stations are going to come in and drop out as you're driving across the country. So this was nice to have. When I stopped doing that, then I never used it anymore, so I still have the radio, but I don't have the service. And this is a listing. I don't know how good to show my camera, but this is a listing of all the digital channels and what's on them. And there is, this last page, nope, more. Approximately 470 as far as number. It's not continuous. There's not 470 channels. Okay. The next one, which is what we're interested in, is shortwave radio listing. And it tells you what the bands are for the international broadcast. And then it goes on and gives you a bunch of tables. Well, here's some examples of some shortwave radios. There's my 750, for instance, and I did a review of the C Crane pocket radio. And then it gives there's a little table right here of stations that are targeting, this is the international station, that are targeting their signal to North America. So these are the ones you most likely will be able to receive. Then it gives you breakdowns, very, very many tables. This particular table here is broadcast in English to North America on shortwave. And then there's other tables, again, that are broadcast to North America that are not as popular or as strong as the ones in the previous table. So the value of this book is all these tables with information about stations. And then one thing that kind of comes to mind when I'm looking through this book is how much content still exists on shortwave, for instance, as an example. There's still tons of content on shortwave. Might be a little more difficult to receive, and definitely not as much as there used to be. Then I think this is the last subject, which is internet radio, which I did a review of an internet radio, and that's another way. If you're in an area where reception via an antenna is not very good, this is a possible way to go, because there are a lot of shortwave international stations that are on the internet and they're streaming basically live, or they do have archives of programs. And so this is another way to, and you can also listen to, for instance, scanner radios. Why is my color changing? Oh well, via these Wi-Fi radios. And like I say, I did a review of one of the Wi-Fi radios. Then it goes into the big 6 international broadcast companies, such as the BBC. Lots of information about the BBC, their history. Here is Radio Australia, which is very popular, pretty easy to receive. And it goes into a total of 6 stations. Then it goes and it has these listings of programs that are available, and the listings are in various forms. In other words, some are by content, some are by time. I don't think there's one. Let me just check, double check. I don't think there's one by frequency, which is quite unusual. Now, that's basically it. Let me zoom back out here again. I know I'm driving you nuts being zoomed in. And I'm about to sneeze. Oh gosh. Oh, all this dust. Negatives about this. I mean, I think this is a very valuable tool, especially if you're new into AM DXing, FM DXing, shortwave radio listing. this is a valuable tool to give you an overview of what's out there. And it does give you an indication that there is a ton of stuff out there via radio. Okay? Now, drawbacks. One thing I don't like about this is, as I just mentioned, there is no listing by frequencies. I don't know why, but there's not. He does give you, on this last section, some additional reference you may find helpful. He does give you some internet sites which have listings by frequency. For instance, I think, that's interesting. It doesn't have the, oh yeah, here it is right down at the bottom. www.short-wave.info. That's the one I use, and I show quite a few times on my shows. The other thing is, and I know it would be difficult because of the content of this book with all the tables, he doesn't have an index. And I would think he would have had some kind of index. If you're generating documents like this in, say, Microsoft Word, it will automatically generate indexes. But like I say, maybe the way, the content, maybe it's just not feasible. The other thing, and there's a reason for not having it, is I think it would be ideal if this also came in a PDF file format. Now the negative is, for the author or the publisher, is PDF is easy to pirate. So, but if it was in PDF format, then you could do searches. So that's just a negative. One huge positive is it's spiral bound. So it's very easy to open this up to a table and to lay this thing down flat, or even fold it over flat. That to me, I think it's ideal. And what I would probably do in the future is, while I'm using this, I would probably actually write notes on the book itself. That's interesting. Watch this. It's interesting how this turns from red to white, depending on how close I get the white to the camera. That's kind of why I stopped using this old camera. Anyway, that's the review. Again, I think it's worth the $25, especially if you're new to worldwide listening. This is a good starter book for $24.95, available and on Amazon. This is the new version. Matter of fact, Amazon lists it, but they don't have any stock right now. The 7th edition. If you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.